Welcome to TechBrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn about what are Lakehouse schemas. So schemas allows you to group your tables together for better data discovery, access control, and more. So we have read or we have done a lot of videos on schema, and we know that there are different type of tables, maybe sale table, and if we want to have two sale tables, maybe one related to the IT, another one related to the another group, then we create the schemas and put those same table names in those different schemas. So I'm going to show you right here as well. But here the topic is how the Lakehouse support those schemas. A few days back when I was creating this tutorial, there was no this feature was not there, so I couldn't see it. But now I can see, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. First of all, you are going to go to workspace here, click on the workspace, and then go to folder Lakehouse. I have created this folder to maintain the items in each of the folder. So here I'm going to go ahead and create a new item, and I'm going to look for the lake house. And in the lake house, once I click there, I can provide a test lake house. That's the name of the lake house, and this part is important. So lake house schema is a public preview. So what it does, you can say the schema let you manage and reference objects in your lake house more easily. You can use a default schema to automatically fill in the file paths when referencing a data object in code. So if you don't do anything, then it's going to be default DBO schema. If you will just put the name of the schema, then it will be the name of whatever you will give for that schema. So here let's click that, and then we will be using a schema here. So if you don't check this box, then you will not be able to create the schemas. So here you see that this is my test lake house, and can see tables here. And if you see right here, this is one of the schema here called DBO. Now I can go right here and then say new schema, and let me say called let me call this a sales schema. Okay, let's create another schema, and this is going to be my HR schema. So HR right there, so you can see that we have created different schemas here. Now if I go right here, and then let's say if I want to delete, then I can go ahead and delete as well. Now as we create the lake house, you know that it always create our SQL analytics endpoint. So now I'm connected in this one right here, see, with the lake house view. Now if I want to see the SQL analytics endpoint, I can go right here and take a look from there. Now if I go here, see the structure has changed a little bit, and here is a test lake house, and then you have schemas here. I'm gonna refresh schemas, and then if I click further down here, I'm seeing only the DBA schema and the system schemas, and there are no sales and HR schema here. The reason for this one, I think, is if you don't have any object in those schemas, then they will not appear here. Let's go back to our Lakehouse view, and then we are going to go ahead and create our first notebook here, and then create our table. So here I'm pasting just the code that will create the table, and this is going to be, I'm going to create this table in, let's say, HR. So I said HR.sales data. So what's going to happen now, it's just I'm defining this some columns here and all that, and then creating empty data frame here, and then just saving that into this table name. So the no records will be there, but just is will be create this table structure. So I'm going to go ahead and execute, and it's right here. So if I go to tables, HR is right there. So once this is completed, then we can refresh and take a look. Okay, this is completed. There are some errors, but it's fine. So now if I go to the HR refresh, and I can go right here, and let's refresh, and you can see that there is a table right there. Now there is no table under sales because this schema is empty. I can create a same table name. Let's say if I would like to create in the sales schema, I can do that as well. So I just have to change it with the sales, and then it's going to create this same table in the sales schema. So after we have created the tables in HR schema and in the sales schema, what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and connect to our SQL endpoint. So here, if we are here and we are connect to the SQL endpoint, and here, if I refresh now, we will see those schemas as well, because we have created a table there, and now we are able to see that. If there is no object and you will be connected to SQL Analytics endpoint, you might not see those schemas that you see in the Lakehouse view. So if you go to the Lakehouse view, you are going to see those schemas there, even there is object or not object there. So let's say if I'm right here and I say create schema, test schema, so test schema will be created here, and you will see that right away. So if you go back to the SQL Analytics endpoint, then you might not see that schema there. So it should be there even the object is there or not, but you are not seeing till you are creating an object in that schema. So see right there, after I created the object in the HR and sales, we can see that, but we don't see the test schema. But if we go back to the Lakehouse view, then I see that schema there. So this is how you will be creating schemas in Lakehouse, and then adding your tables, and you will be using notebooks, to create those different objects, because the SQL Analytics endpoint does not give you permission to create these tables and all that. One more thing I want to do, actually test right here. If I go back to the Lakehouse here and go to SQL Analytics endpoint, and I will say new query, and I will say create schema and test one. So I want to test this. If it let you create the schema from a SQL Analytics endpoint, and because there are some objects actually you can. So in these cases, I was just curious. So it is from the SQL Analytics endpoint, you can also create the schema. But if I will try to create the table, then you will not be able to create the table. So let's say if I'll say test one dot my table, and then say ID integer. Now if I will do this, it's gonna give me error. So you can create the schema in SQL Analytics endpoint by you saying create schema. That's fine, but it's not gonna let you create the other objects. So I thank you very much for watching this video, and I will hope you will use the schemas in the lake houses, because they're very helpful to manage your objects in a different folders, or you call them different containers as per your needs. I will see you guys in next video.